so many what if questions. Understanding how this disease is transmitted and that we can manage the infection process to some degree. We can't manage asymptomatic folks because you don't know that they have disease, but we can manage infection process. So part of this is putting into place a plan for how we would respond if there were a COVID-19 child in the classroom. Even before that, the schools, I'm sure, will follow reasonable infection control measures, possibly screening children as they come in the school, screening staff as they come in, segregating classrooms by a 6 feet distance between chairs, limiting those children's access to different bathrooms so that this classroom uses this bathroom, so on and so forth, that everybody comes in one door, or the students come in one door and exit that door, staff come in one door, exit that door. So you're controlling for the movement in the school, maybe even, keeping all the elementary school kids in one classroom all day. Tim, you may want to comment about the feasibility of that. But
that's why I work in a high school.
Even worse. So these are strategies that still need to be put into place. So if that child then becomes COVID-19, if we find a child that is reported, doesn't show up for school, parent calls and said, oh, my child has COVID-19, and we know from our then investigation that will, the test positive will kick off an investigation by our staff. So we will interview the parents, try to determine where this child has been during the infection period, which is while the child is symptomatic and 2 days before the onset of symptoms. Try to determine who the folks who are at risk for transmission of disease and call and advise them, whether that's family, other people, and in this regard, it would be at school. So if this child is in a classroom and it's determined by our investigation that those other children in the classroom may be at risk for transmission of disease, we would quarantine that whole classroom. But if we do this right, we don't have to shut down a school. We may want to talk about how we're going to clean that school that night so that it can open up the next day. We don't want, I don't think anybody wants to get into this panic mode of, oh my God, we're going to just shut down the school for the rest of the year. We're going to have to figure out how to live with this virus. So I think that we can put strategies into place so that we can assure and limit the spread of disease in our school settings. But we can't assure that somebody's not going to be in the school with the disease. Again, largely because of its asymptomatic nature. And mom's in a rush. She's got to go to work. Her kid's got this little cough, but it doesn't seem like much. Kid goes to school. One of our first cases, I won't say where, but was a school health worker who was symptomatic for 2 days while working in school. But that was before we closed schools. So part of this is educating our staff, educating our parents. Please, if you're ill, don't come to school. Just don't come. We'll cover for you. We'll work it out. So this is part of the planning process, but also has to be part of the messaging process for parents to understand this is going to happen and how the school is going to respond, and that we can protect our children. In the most part, we do know how to prevent the spread of disease.
All right, thank you.
High school?
Yeah, well, high school is a similar one where they're going to different classes throughout the day. And so at that point, I'm then worried that we're going to be quarantining larger and larger populations for 2 weeks at a time.
Yeah, those are strategies that need to be worked out. I would probably discourage all that movement in our high schools. Why not? Now, this is just me talking, okay? I have no CDC guidelines for this. I have no VDH guidelines. There are no national standards right now. We have a one-page flow sheet that just got posted by the CDC 3 days ago for schools. And it's just a series of questions, basically, regarding your preparedness. Do you have a plan in place? Well, we've got to get together and talk about our plan. I don't think it's a good idea to have kids moving all around the school all day. So why not move the professors, the teachers from classroom to classroom? That minimizes the amount of movement in the school, minimizes, and what we're trying to do is minimize the opportunities for this virus to move from person to person. So you minimize the number of people that anyone has contact with during that day. Are you going to feed kids in their classrooms, Tim? I don't know. We've got to talk about these things.
Definitely. Thank you.
All right. I think the main point I wanted to get across is also that expectation setting that even if we do open up the schools, back in August, that there is a high likelihood that there will be students that have to be taken out of school for 2 weeks at a time if there is an infected child or teacher or staff member in that school.
Yeah, but I'm hoping, unlike the guidelines that came out in March, which said, you could close a schoolroom, close a school, close the school division. Oh my. I'm hoping that we can put plans into place so that, kid in the classroom, we do our investigation, identify those who may be at risk for transmission of disease. That should be investigation-based, not fear or anxiety-based strategy. And it may mean, yes, this classroom needs to be quarantined for 2 weeks. But I'm hoping that we will be able to work out strategies that would be the limit. Maybe a teacher, a school nurse, whatever. Those are plans that we have to put into place. And there's a lot of these what ifs and how can we minimize the transmission of disease.